Well, welcome to February. Here we are. As is kind of traditional, I chose the theme this month of Love is in the Air, and our message this morning is Let Me Count the Ways. And I'd like to ask you if you would just do a little experiment with me for just a few moments here and think about that theme of love is in the air. Literally. I want you to think, stop for a minute, and imagine that every time you take a breath, you are breathing in love. Every time you exhale and you breathe out, you are breathing out love. So I'm going to literally just stop talking for just a few moments. I'm going to give us all the opportunity to have that experience. Consciously think, I am breathing in love. I am breathing out love. How does that make you feel? Do you feel any different? Is there a different energy about you? I know all of us are going to have a different experience of it, that's for sure. But to me, when I do that, and I'm sure it'll change, with each experience of it, but I feel a strength. And I feel like I'm physically being caressed on the inside. And that just physically makes you feel just warm and fuzzy. But how does it make you think? How does it make your emotions feel when you know that wherever I am, not just what I'm breathing, not just the breath of the air, but wherever I look, wherever my gaze, whatever my eyesight falls upon, I can accept that that is love. One of the most challenging things for us in this life is that we can, and Louise Hay has taught us many, many things, when we look in the mirror, we want to be able to say, I am love. Easily, joyously say that. To know that I am love in expression. To me, it gives a great sense of peace. There's no really expectation because love continually just gives unconditionally, accepts everyone and everything just as they are. There's no judgments, there's no criticism. So I'm going to ask you to, this coming week, give yourself that little bit of intentional assignment. Do it just interspersed throughout the day. Every so often, just think, I'm breathing in love and I'm breathing out love, and take note of what it does to you physically, what it does to you mentally, emotionally. It'll give you a little break, I am sure. And also remember that whatever you look at. Now, it's interesting because, if I'm looking at a beautiful flower, oh, well, that's easy. If I'm looking at like a hummingbird, of course, that's love. It's not as easy to look at every single thing and every single person as love in expression, because we bring with us on this earth plane, many of us, this ego self that wants to judge and categorize. And many times, love is not in the category. There's other categories that we assign different people, different things. But remember that it is all God. It is all love. Granted, my behavior, other people's behaviors might not always reflect that love that we are, But that doesn't mean it's not there. We have the tendency to be able to cover it up, to hide it, to mask it, for whatever reasons. So know, as you look at every single person, I don't care if it's a friend, if it's a foe, if it's a politician, there is that love deep down within them that is at their core essence, as we all are. It's a challenge to live through this life and just let go, let go, let go of criticisms, of judgments, of expectations, and accept life as it is. You know, they said that, there's nothing you can change in life. Some things you just can't change. You just have to accept. We can change ourselves. We can change our thinking. We can change our expectations of what we want out of life, what we want to, because I believe we came here literally as an expression of love. You think about little children. They are just in the moment, expressing whatever wonderful things come to mind. And my little 2-year-old this last week, it's getting a challenge to get her down for her nap. And of course, they have a camera in the bedroom, in her bedroom, that they can watch what she's doing. She said, "Oh, I'm gonna lie down. I'm gonna take my nap in the recliner, in the little rocker chair." And okay, but you've got to go to sleep. And so we close the door, because she tells me, "I don't want you, Grandma." "No, I don't want you. You go away." It's interesting how she is fickle at times. Okay, but then, and I'm out in the living room talking to my son, and sure enough, she pokes up her head, she's looking around, she's starting to get up. And he yells, because it's not that big a house, "Oh, Adeline, I told you, you're supposed to be laying down and being still and go to sleep." And you could see her little eyes just went, "How did he know that?" But the innocence of children, if we could take that innocence that is still within us and let us accept others as they are and not try to change them. The only one we can really change is ourselves. This month, besides being the month of love, is also Black History Month, and it is also the continuation of a season for nonviolence as well. And I think most of us, when we think about that topic, that subject, Martin Luther King Jr. comes to mind. I mean, he's just the icon of those two topics. And I think it's a worthwhile endeavor for us to look at those celebrations, to look at that information, so that we can be more aware of what's going on in this world around us. And I don't want to go into a whole lot of details, but I want to mention it because I want us to think about, when we go into our time of meditation in this coming month and the few weeks ahead especially, to bring that into your meditations. To bring into the meditations, how do I feel around the topic of racism? I had a friend post some things on Facebook. Many people do that, about Black History Month. And boy, the comments that were coming back and forth and back and forth. Well, why don't we have a White History Month? And and all of these comparisons and da-da-da-da-das. And I don't remember exactly the response, but I thought that it was a good one. He said, "It's just that I wasn't raised with being aware of Black leaders in history." Now we've had, I don't remember the name of the lady that was the mathematician, the Afro-American woman they made the movie out of her. And so I think it behooves us to just become more aware and open and receptive to what really is going on with these folks that are living their lives perfectly well, and just because they have a different color skin. is for many times a challenge for them, for other people. And why do we make a judgment on that? Why do we have that as any sort of element that we have to think about? You know, when Wayne Dyer tells a story that and this was a true story, when he was taking his final exam for his doctoral studies, he walked in the room and there was an essay question that they had to answer. And there was just one thing that on this whole test, the final test. And so the situation that was presented was that there is a formal dance, a formal party of some sort going on. And everyone's arriving and they're all beautifully dressed. And then one person came in shorts and flip-flops. And there's a mystic in the room as well, and he was dressed in his attire. The question for the exam was, explain how the mystic responded. What did the mystic do? And writing, pages and pages of what the mystic would do, And at the end of the time allotted, the professor went to the blackboard and he wrote, "This is the answer. The mystic would not notice." Wouldn't even see it. Simple answer. Wouldn't even see it. I went to the grocery store this last week for one item. We were going to make a pizza for dinner, and we had the cheese, we had mushrooms, we had sausage, but we wanted to put some pineapple tidbits on the top of it, and I didn't have those. So I go in the store, and here this lady is standing right smack dab in front of, with her cart, in front of the pineapple tidbits. So I just kind of stood back and waited. And she glanced around and she looked at me and she thought, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in your way, excuse me. And then she says, I'm gonna make a pizza tonight. And you see, I've got the cheese here in my cart, I've got the mushrooms, and so I wanna put pineapple tidbits on the top of it. And I said, wow, that's amazing, because that's exactly the same reason I'm here. And so she stepped aside, and then she just starts. She's like a chatty Cathy. Then she starts like, you know, I haven't had anything to eat all day long. Now that's really unusual. I don't understand that. I'm just not hungry. And I said, well, you know, it's kind of dangerous when you walk into a grocery store if you are hungry, you know, to be careful what you're buying. She goes, that's true. I've got a doctor's appointment this coming week. I'm going to talk to him and ask him about why I'm not hungry. I'm thinking, boy, she is a chatty Cathy, you know, just. Okay, I used to have a friend that people would do that to her. She'd come back and she'd go to the grocery store and she'd go, what do I have, a sign on the top of my forehead that says, tell me your life story, or what? But so we were, she was chatting, telling me all these things, whatnot, and so I'm reaching over trying to get my pineapple tidbits, and she says, now make sure you get the right ones, just casually, and I looked, sure enough, because I decided I was going to get two. If I get one, might as well get two. And I had gotten, one of them was a crushed pineapple, the other one was tin. So thank you, I hadn't noticed that, thank you very much. And so then I told her, well, you know, that's exactly the kind of pizza we're making, only I'm gonna put sausage on mine. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. That's a good idea, I'm gonna go get some sausage to put on it. So we had this nice little, you know, exchange. And I told that story to a couple people. I decided I didn't need to tell in my rendition of the story that this was an Afro-American woman. I thought, well, it's not really important. What difference does it make? But the point was that I did notice. But I also noticed that she was as cute as a button. She was just so fun and friendly and you know, just an open soul. And so I'm just bringing that up because I want us to be cognizant of our awareness. And if we recognize that, yes, I observe, okay, yes, well, this person is this color. Don't let that color our opinion, our expectation, our belief about that person. Because inside, which we can't see, that spirit is absolute pure love. As we talked about in the Thought for the Week, this, let me count the ways. Let me count the ways that I can see love. And in the Bible, we are told time and time again, when I look in the concordance of the Bible, what it does, the concordance is it lists a word, and it gives you every place in the Bible that it shows up. And the listing under love is probably about a 6-inch listing of all of the various references to where love is mentioned in the Bible. And we are instructed to love the Lord our God, to love our neighbor as ourselves. That means we have to love ourselves as well, right? We love our enemies, love one another. The fruit of spirit is love. Love casts out fear. Oh my gosh. And that's just to name a few of them. Isn't that fabulous? If ever we're in fear, wouldn't it be lovely just to take that and turn it around and say, I'm breathing in love. I'm breathing out love. There's nothing to fear here. Wouldn't that be lovely if we could remove all of the angst and fear from our lives just by knowing that I am love and you are love? And that's what is going around in this world. Let me count the ways. Let me count the ways that I see love showing up in my life. How can I be that expression of love, which is what? All-inclusive, all-giving, unconditional, one of the broadest expressions that could ever be in this lifetime. That would be a nice thing, don't you think? To live a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper in love. I'm going to ask you to pull out your program, and on the bottom of the Thought for the Week, I want us to read together this affirmation as we close. I am love in expression. Therefore, let me count the ways I will allow and let it spring forth from me in expected and unexpected ways, bringing me a joy beyond measure. And it is so. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you.